Hello everyone. Today I'll be sharing with you like 7 signs that you can recognize whether you have a problem in your third chakra, which is solar plexus chakra. And this is a chakra which governs your power. When this chakra gets weak and your power gets weakened. Okay, let's talk about the 7 signs that you can recognize whether you have a problem in your third chakra. So, and at the same time, what mainly this chakra gets blocked through shame. If you have a lot of shame, then this chakra gets shrink, and get blocked. Look at what are the things that govern by this chakra is like your decisions. Like if you take your power and your boundaries and your identity, all these are governed by the third chakra. And your goals and your vision, the direction in your life, and the energy levels you have, all these are governed by the third chakra. So let's look at like what are the signs that we can recognize that there's an imbalance in the third chakra. You will get distracted. Like, for example, you cannot focus in your life. Let's say you start a business in your life and then you see someone else is doing some other business which seems maybe quite profitable or like maybe it feels like much more effortless. So you feel like going in that direction and you go towards that. And then you, after a few months, you see someone else is doing some other kind of business and you feel that is much more, it's like much more smooth. So why not go into that? And so you, like if you see that you cannot focus and stay consistent with one thing as you will get distracted constantly. So this is a sign that you have imbalance in your third chakra because if you cannot focus, we cannot bring something into completion. So we cannot bring results in our lives. So that's why it's important that that we need to focus in our life. Even as a truth seeker, for me, like I remember I had many distractions in my life. Because in the external world, like in the material world, no one comes and say, okay, let's do like how we can do truth seeking or like let's do it. Like no one is encouraging, rather discouraging when it comes to truth seeking. And there's so many distractions in my life, but yet I had laser focus to go in my path in a very, very laser focus like. So even if you take, like I've seen that sometimes people come to spirituality when they have going through a tough time in their life. And once their life comes to a normal, like they feel much better and all that. So they forget about spirituality and they to go about their life. So this is why the focus becomes very important. If you can't focus, we cannot go in any depth in anything in life. So like more we can focus, more we can accomplish things in our life. Like this is the third chakra, this is your like power, this is your goals, everything resides in this chakra. But if your focus getting distracted, like nowadays, like for you to get distracted, there's a million ways. So much information coming at us, like it's our responsibility that we take charge of it. So that's one thing. So if you have a problem in boundaries, that is also another indication that you have a problem in your third chakra. Either if you have loose boundaries or you have so much rigid boundaries, this is an indication that you have imbalance in your third chakra. Because if you have so much loose boundaries, what happens is that those boundaries are weak, that any person can penetrate like bulldoze those boundaries. And if the boundaries are so rigid, like let's say there's a person and then you like completely cut that person off. That is a more rigid boundary rather than you could have like let's say there's a person who's just have trouble understanding what you need in your life. You could first share it. Going into one extreme and making a huge, like a very rigid boundary and just like completely cut that person off in their life, that would be a more rigid boundary. But maybe even that could be something which is useful situation. Maybe we need to like cut off someone, like, but it depends on the situation. Like, so what I meant to say is like having rigid boundaries is not that like you completely like the boundary is so rigid that no one can pay, like no one can just reach out to you. So that could be a very, very rigid boundary. Third one could be like you're feeling constantly exhausted or tired and you have low energy in your life. That is also an indication you have a problem in your third chakra. Because third chakra, as I previously said, is governed these energies in our life. Like if you have constant problem and we are constantly complaining that we don't have much energy and we feel drained all the time, that is also an indication that you need to work on your third chakra. The next thing is, so if you feel like intimidated by other people, like let's say there are authority figures like the bosses or at your work, and you feel intimidated by these people, that is also an indication that you have a problem in your third chakra. Thing is like this is a common problem that I've recognized in many people's life, which is people are not sure what their purpose in their life is. And since I recognized this very much earlier, I created a course in Sinhala language, which is my mother tongue, which is the local language, on how to find your life purpose. For this, like it's very valuable you find your personality needs. And if you can align that and find your talents and bring all together and create a career which is aligning with yourself, that would really fulfills in your life. And a person not knowing their life purpose is a real, I find that when they don't know their life purpose, they just get hooked with addictions and they just don't know what to do in their life because they don't have any meaning in their life, which create other dysfunctions in their life. So it's very important that we find our life purpose. So that's why I created that course in Sinhala language. Those who understand Sinhala, who's watching my channel, can go up to my Sinhala channel and can get access to that course. This is the chakra which gives you the direction. If you don't know what's your purpose in life, where would you direct your life? It's like you're sitting in a, like you just sit down on a driving seat in a car, but you don't know where to go. Where's the destination? Because this chakra is about the direction in your life. Next thing is like previously I mentioned how people lose focus and then their will is all over. And when that happens, actually, people find it difficult to bring some task into completion. If someone has problem in bringing task or projects or anything that they start with, bringing them into a completion, then that is also an indication that they have problem in their third chakra. Let's say you start a business, but then you don't have what it takes to maintain it day to day, like consistency. Another way, like bringing like another is like, let's say you start a degree program or some educational program, but you don't have what it takes to bring that and do it until it completes in your life. That we need willpower. difficult in completing tasks or projects or anything that you start with, bring that into completion, then there's a definitely that is what a problem which is resonating with the third chakra. Because third chakra is about your willpower. Sometimes when someone have excessive second chakra, which is their desire becomes so high, so they move towards the desire, their willpower gets shrink. So that's why we need even like each chakra needs to be balanced because each chakra just affect each other. Next thing is, if you feel like when the life challenges or life problems come in your life that you find it very difficult to take it in, or like if you're overwhelmed by the life challenges that you get in life, that is also an indication you have a problem in your third chakra. So these are the signs that you can recognize to see whether you have an imbalance in your third chakra. We talk about this chakra because like this is a chakra that we need to strengthen in our life. Sometimes it gets weakened. Like this is not a actually like balancing these chakras is not a one-time job. It's a consistently we need to balance and heal the process because sometimes there'll be times that where you have the balanced third chakra, but there'll be times where you have imbalance in your third chakra. So this is not a one-time job. Okay, I'm done. No, it's like a consistent, just like we have showers every day to cleanse our body, just like that, we need to work on our energy body as well. These are energy centers. So in next videos, I would like to talk about how you can further heal this third chakra, and stay tuned for those videos. Thank you.